From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your MTN Statewide News this Thursday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, state health officials announced 2 more COVID-related deaths today, both in Yellowstone County. One, an 80-year-old man, the other, a 30-year-old woman. Well, so far, Yellowstone County has lost 56 people to COVID-related illness of the 143 across the state. The next largest number, 21 deaths in Bighorn County. Now, the state also reports another 217 active cases today, the new single-day record. Yellowstone and Rosebud counties with the most active cases, followed by Bighorn County. Of the largest counties, Gallatin County reports just 47 active cases. And according to the governor's new COVID education map, 41 of those people are students at Montana State University in Bozeman. Most active cases of any school in Montana. The next, Montana Tech, with 33 students and 1 faculty member. In Butte, Montana Tech Chancellor yesterday warning students to stop gathering in large social groups or parties off campus. And across the state, there are 96 active university cases, 31 high school, 30 elementary, and 7 middle school students reported. And down in Wyoming yesterday, the state set a one-day total of 128 new cases. According to the Wyoming Department of Health, the number of confirmed cases rose by a daily record of 104, while the probable case number increased by 24. The previous single-day high came in August with 67 confirmed cases. The state's 10-day average sits at just over 53 per day, which is also a record. Wyoming now sits at over 4,500 total cases with 46 deaths. Well, health experts are now warning the public about the possibility of a twin-demic. Now, this means a bad flu season combined with COVID-19. Officials are urging everyone to help by getting a flu vaccine this fall. The flu vaccine covers 4 strains and will either protect a person entirely or reduce chances of contracting severe or serious influenza. Some experts believe that the 2020 flu season won't be as severe due to social distancing measures already in place. Well, with people spending more time at home and distancing themselves from others, it could lead to drawing spouses or partners closer. MTN News spoke with a midwife on her experiences with baby booms and asked if this pandemic could lead to a quarantine baby boom 9 months from now.
Historically, it could go either way. We've had lots of natural disasters that caused a baby boom. Just because in times of stress, people come together, they need more emotional support, they need more physical contact. But also people consider financial stress. So if they've lost their jobs, sometimes people think maybe they don't necessarily want to add another person into the family.
And Belzer says there isn't any scientific explanation that points to either. Well, the Lone Star fire in Yellowstone National Park has grown by about 500 acres. Park Service crews say the fire jumped from about 3,300 acres to more than 3,900, due mostly to spot fires, creeping, and smoldering. The Grand Loop Road near Old Faithful to West Thumb remains open, but the park warns it could close at any time if the fire gets too close or if there's too much smoke. Firefighters are explaining why they believe a lightning strike caused the Bridger Foothills fire northeast of Bozeman. They tell MTN that lightning created a heat source which smoldered for a week or more until vegetation dried out and winds aligned just right. Now, Forest Service officials say campers can see the same thing happen when a fire they think is out begins to smoke and grow warmer hours later. Officials say small changes in humidity and temperature can be enough to ignite just a few embers. On the weather scene, we've had quite a few changes in the last couple hours, Rob Griggs, and we are looking at even more smoke in our skies.
We are. We have air quality warnings now all over the state, save the northeastern corner. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but obviously the smoke is a real problem for us. Do we have any relief long term? Well, right now the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook shows, unfortunately, warmer than average temperatures across most of the United States. The south and the southeast are going to catch a break as it'll be a little bit cooler than average. And bad news on top of bad news, really no significant moisture expected. It'll be slightly wetter out toward coastal Washington and Oregon, which is good news for them, but it's going to be drier than average across most of the rest of the continental United States, and that of course would include most of Montana and Wyoming. We'll get to the specifics about that air quality warning and the forecast in just a little bit. Jeanelle?
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, Montana Republican Senator Steve Daines, along with California Senator Dianne Feinstein, announced the Emergency Wildfire and Public Safety Act of 2020. Now, that bill would create a $100 million grant program to pay businesses to remove dead and dying trees and would help speed up environmental reviews so officials have a better understanding of how a devastating fire would impact any given area. A 19-year-old woman from Billings is a helicopter pilot who this year joined the fight against wildfires in California. Here's CBS's Nora O'Donnell with her story.
Ashley Blaine is just a teenager, but she flies one of the largest helicopters, the nearly 50,000-pound CH-47 Chinook.
You could say it's the family trade. My dad's been flying fires for close to 30 years now. As soon as I got into flying, I knew that was going to be one of my end goals, was to get into firefighting.
Flying as her dad's co-pilot, Ashley makes sure the water they're carrying hits its target.
You have to be able to lean out the window, basically, and look at a water bucket underneath you and guide it where you want to go.
What is one of the biggest challenges flying a Chinook while trying to fight a fire?
Sometimes we can be flying in very adverse conditions, thick smoke or just lots of other aircraft working around us that we have to be cognizant of.
But for a young woman who's been flying since she was 13, it's a dream summer job.
I love what I do, especially getting to fly with my dad. That's one of the best parts.
Other than flying, what's the most important lesson you've learned from your father?
Oh, how to be a good person. He's a very compassionate and empathetic person, and he does his best to help out our local community and his friends. And that's something I really admire about him, is his willingness to help other people. And I think that's hopefully a trait that I can pick up from him and learn from him.
Nora O'Donnell, CBS News.
That entire Blaine family giving back to its Montana community on a constant basis. Well, Sally is threatening to flood more states. Rain pounded Alabama and Florida yesterday, leaving at least one person dead. Now that rain is heading for Georgia and the Carolinas. Sally has been downgraded from a hurricane to a tropical depression, but its slow pace is what's making it dangerous. The National Hurricane Center expects the storm to cross over Georgia throughout the day and hit South Carolina by night. Well, the race to become Montana's next governor is tightening, at least from a fundraising perspective. Democrat Mike Cooney raised $670,000 in the past month alone, pushing his campaign total to $2.5 million. Republican Greg Gianforte is still in front, though. He's raised $2.8 million so far. Montana's governor contest is considered the most competitive governor race in the nation. Recent polls have shown Gianforte with a single-digit lead. Well, there are only a few more days for businesses to apply for the Montana Working Capital Program. The program is a loan for Montana businesses that have lost more than 15% of their gross revenue as a result of the coronavirus. Business owners can use the money for payroll, employee benefits, lease or rent, inventory, utilities, and insurance. Up next on your new news, we sail the ocean blue for a historic look back at the Mayflower and how it is once again a modern-day marvel. But first, Rob's in next with your statewide weather forecast.